Hello and happy Friday. How is everybody doing? Getting these pop-ups out of my way. You might be wondering, or maybe not, how come Nancy has like no makeup on except for a little lip gloss, hair up, in a hat? Um, that's because I just got back from the gym and the weather's getting a little cooler and Um, I like comfort. I don't like to freeze, but I wanted to share with you guys today what I was doing at the gym. So, and I know a lot of people don't have time for the gym, and I encourage you guys to get out there and walk. We all know how to walk. We all can get out there. Just need a really good pair of shoes. If you walk all day, um, congratulations. That's awesome. So today I went to the gym and I just went a couple times this week and then just did kind of regular workouts at home. Um, and obviously, sorry, I'm getting the pop-ups out of here. Behind me, real quick, is my air conditioner, which is going to be gone the next time you see me. I'm not going to have that thing behind me. It was so great having it this summer, but it has just been, it's just, I covered it with a scarf. Can you see it? It's terrible. Okay, so let's get back on track. But one thing I want to show you, can you see it? Oops, got to go this way. Can you see it? Mama bear. How sweet is that? My son went to Montana this summer, um, through Montana to Colorado for a friend's wedding, and he brought me back this mug, Mama Bear, and look at the back. Oops, go this way. Look at that. Cute. So I just drank some dandelion tea. For those of you who have not had dandelion tea, it gets rid of excess water. It's really, really good for kind of like your, kidneys, getting your fluids out. If you're a woman, you know about the fluids, retaining water, etc. So let me get back on track about the gym. So today, what I did was strength training. And strength training is really, really, really good for, I mean, any age, but really after, 40 females, we're losing, bone density and muscle mass, and you really want to retain as much muscle mass as you have and just keep it firm, keep it there. I noticed during the pandemic, the last couple years, I had a couple people tell me that, they just couldn't get to the gym um, and you could see it in their body that they weren't as firm as you are when you go work out with the weights. So, want to encourage you guys to do that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the sauna. Now, I went into the sauna um, today for 15 minutes. Now, that may not seem like a long time, but I went Monday and I went for 10 minutes. And today I got a full 15 minutes. And I have to tell you, it was extremely difficult for me to sit in that sauna because I hate the heat. But some of the benefits of the sauna, um, and if you have high blood pressure, I wouldn't recommend a sauna. Um, so I have my fitness watch here, so I kind of track my heart rate and my blood pressure, take my blood pressure after I'm out of there. I don't have issues with blood pressure. I just like to keep an eye on it. So anyway, I'm in the sauna. One thing I didn't it's in the female locker room, the women's locker room. One thing I didn't anticipate or is women who are just kind of hanging out with, not their workout clothes, maybe just a towel. And I don't know why that was weird for me. I just kind of thought I'm sitting in this hot wooden box with these nearly naked people. But, hey, if that's your deal and, cool. But I guess I'm super modest. I definitely would not go in there with even just a towel. That's not going to happen. But some of the benefits, obviously, when you're working out, you're going to sweat out toxins. Well, when you get in that sauna, you also are sweating out toxins. And so it's really good. I read up on some of the other benefits, and weight loss was in there. I don't really think that weight loss, I think that whoever wrote that probably shouldn't have wrote it, because if you're going to lose weight in the sauna, all you're going to lose is water weight. You're sweating it out. You're sweating out toxins. You're not going to get into a certain size pants because you went to the sauna a few days a week. That's just, I thought that was a little foolish for the person to write that. But anyway, so another thing that's really good is to keep a journal. And I mentioned this before, an exercise journal and a diet journal. I don't mean like diet, go on a diet. I don't mean that. I mean writing down sort of what are you doing carnivore? Are you doing keto? Is it working for you? How many weeks have you been doing it? Um, that's what I'm talking about, is really just logging in what you're doing for how long and what did you see for results, because that's really what you want. And it's really, I want to emphasize, I've heard about the diabetes shot that people are taking so that they can lose weight. First of all, if your doctor gives you the Ozempic, um, it's an injection. If your doctor gives you that and you don't have diabetes, that can cause a lot of problems with your pancreas. And also, if you have a doctor that's willing to prescribe you that for weight loss, you're not going to a doctor, you're going to a drug dealer. So you need to really watch. Just have some really good discernment when you're, getting healthy and, whatever your plan is. So today I wanted to um, just get this out there for you. No to the diabetes, shot. If you don't have diabetes, please don't do that. That's so awful. Setbacks are going to happen. So if you're on a weight loss journey, and you're not seeing the scale move, stop weighing yourself. Yes, I said it. Stop weighing yourself. Get a pair of pants, that perhaps fit into 5, 10 years ago, or whatever size they are. And really, just like, go by the pants. I've said this before. Your clothing is going to tell you much more than a scale is going to ever tell you, how you're doing. So, go by your clothes. I have various sizes of pants, various different sizes of dresses and pants and skirts, etc. And I really go by the pant size. And I can now also, I think I have pants from like 15 years ago, maybe more, maybe longer, like maybe 20 years ago. And I can definitely still, you know, if I fit into them, I can remember how old I was, and you know, on and on and on. But I want to encourage you to take a break from the scale. Take a break. Um, it doesn't help people out as much as doctors want to weigh you. In fact, my doctor, um, I will only let her weigh me like maybe every other time that I come in there, which isn't very often, because I hate the scale. It's just so inaccurate as to, your muscle mass versus your fat versus, maybe you're retaining. I've retained up to 10 pounds of water before. No joke. I've weighed myself one day and there was the number, and then weighed myself the next morning and it was 10 pounds difference. All because I was just tons of water weight gain. So that's another thing that I like to tell people is that when you're losing weight, a lot of, when you're first starting out, a lot of it is going to be water weight. It's not going to be actual fat. It's going to be water weight. And, if you're weighing yourself all the time, you're going to see, a 2 pound differential. You're going to see 3 pounds. Oh, I lost 5 pounds. And then the next day, you're 2 pounds up. It's discouraging. It's very discouraging. So just take my advice. I'm a health and wellness professional. I'm certified in this area. I'm certified in mindset as well. But take my advice. I have 27 years of nutrition training, etc. Also, exercise physiology. I'm pretty familiar with that as well. Take my advice. Get rid of the scale for a while. If you really have to weigh yourself every day, um, and it doesn't bother you, the numbers don't bother you, you're not discouraged, hey, go for it. But if you're like me, and I know a lot of women that are, you dislike that scale. You don't like it. You don't want to get on it. You don't want to see that number. It can be depressing. It can be discouraging. And it can cause eating disorders. It can cause all kinds of issues with your body image just stepping on a scale. So, you know, if you're cool with it, great. And if you're like me, step away from it for a while. It's not going to really halt any of your weight loss efforts or anything of that nature. Um, you want to really focus on your clothing, focus on your pant size. And sizes vary, I know that, but like I said, you can take pants that you've had in your closet for 15, 20 years, or whatever. And, if they're tight, back off the food for a while. If they're loose, you've lost some weight. Congratulations. Also, and number one, before I close this video out, number one thing to remember is your health. If you don't have your health, you have nothing in this world. Um, I have experience observing this with other people who are not as healthy as I am, and you want to take care of your health. I think that the cosmetic aspect to weight loss is great. I think it's great when you look in the mirror and you've lost some weight and you feel better about yourself. It boosts your self esteem. I completely get that. But on the other end of that, you want to make sure that you're looking at your health and looking at your cholesterol numbers, looking at, I mean, this is what the doctor is good for, is to go in. They're not good for giving you nutritional advice generally. Most doctors have less than 7 hours in med school of nutritional advice, and they don't need to go every year and brush up on the newest, nutritional information. Um, so, with that said, your doctor is really good for getting your blood tests, checking out your liver, your AST, your ALT. Those numbers are going to show you, do you have non alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is um, pretty much an epidemic at this point, right up there with diabetes type 2. You want to make sure that you don't have high numbers. You want to check your triglycerides. You want to check your cholesterol, your LDL, your HDL. You want to get like a full metabolic scan, is what you want to, a comprehensive metabolic scan is what you want to ask for from your doctor. And most doctors are just happier than all get out to do that for you. Also get an A1C. That's a better predictor of the last 3 months of your blood sugar and your glucose. The A1C really is a much better measurement than just checking your blood sugar. Um, so with all that said, your cholesterol, your liver, You want to make sure that you have really good numbers for, and especially look at your triglycerides. If you eat out at restaurants a lot and you also have a lot of fried foods, you want to stay on top of that. You want to stay on top of your triglycerides. Triglycerides are basically, it's a measurement of fat in your blood. So you want to make sure that, you're not headed towards some major issue, like a major health issue. um, this is what I like to preach to you guys, is that your health is number one. Any cosmetic, um, any cosmetic kind of benefit from working out, like, hey, you look a lot better. That's the cherry on top. But you want to go ahead and take a look at all your numbers. So if you have your yearly physical with your doctor, make sure that you ask for that comprehensive metabolic scan, and that you have all your numbers, lined up, and you're healthy. Because a lot of these, especially like diabetes type 2 and non alcoholic fatty liver disease, those two can really sneak up on a person. And they can, you can't work out your liver. So if you're, I don't drink alcohol at all. I don't drink it at um, a special occasion. I just don't drink alcohol. I don't have a taste for it. I don't like it. And, I think that's a good thing. Now, non alcoholic fatty liver disease is primarily because of your diet, and you're not going to be able to reverse it. I mean, not like diabetes type 2. So you really want to watch those numbers, the ALT, the AST, and make sure that you're not a candidate for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. At one time, about 10 years ago, my numbers were a little bit high on those. And actually had a medical assistant tell me I needed to stop drinking. And I thought, well, you're nuts. I don't like, I looked at her and I said, what are you talking about? She goes, well, your levels are high on your AST and ALT. And I'm like, okay, well, let me look at them. Let me see the labs. And right then and there, I just changed my diet. I basically knew that it was probably non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, but this medical assistant apparently didn't know about that or wasn't schooled on, this, and said to me that I needed to stop drinking. I was like water? Like I don't even drink alcohol. What are you talking about? So make sure that you check those numbers. Make sure you get into your primary care physician, get some lab work done, um, from what I've just told you, and take a look at your numbers, see where you're at. Um, that's the closing of this video, and I hope that everybody has a wonderful weekend. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing me with my hair up in a baseball cap and no makeup. I appreciate it. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful Friday. And if you work on the weekends and Friday is not your last day, well, have a great weekend. And whatever your day off is, enjoy it. So take care. Thanks, guys.